General Orders Number 100, April 1863, also known as the Lieber Code. This U.S. Army order had multiple articles extending and clarifying the powers of the Army during the Civil War, which applied to include abolishing slavery. Actions to abolish enslavement began upon instigation of hostilities by those wishing to separate from the Union, rather than accept the results of the presidential election of 1860, when they decided upon armed rebellion. Those in rebellion sought to establish a government with its foundation built on slavery, restrictions of liberties, and the false presumption of pure white supremacy. These stood in stark contrast to the Enlightenment principles and goals set forth in the Declaration of Independence. And the laws of war provided the United States government the legal basis for the prosecution of the conflict towards an outcome abolishing slavery and the goal of establishing equal rights for all Americans, regardless of the color of their skin. The legislative and lawmaking powers of Congress, such as the Confiscation Acts and the Militia Acts, provided President Abraham Lincoln the authority to issue the Emancipation Proclamation. The proclamation, published in the press, distributed nationally, and issued as General Orders Number 1, further emboldened with the creation of the United States Colored Troops, enabling African Americans to be soldiers in the United States Army. These were followed up with the further additions to the Articles of War, referred to as General Orders Number 100, and they were issued April 24, 1863 by the War Department. Article 23. Private citizens are no longer murdered, enslaved, or carried off to distant parts. Article 32. A victorious army, by martial power inherent in the same, may suspend, change, or abolish the existing laws of the invaded country. Article 42. Slavery exists according to municipal or local law only. The law of nature and nations has never acknowledged it. The Digest of Roman law enacts the early dictum that all men are created equal. Fugitives escaping from a country in which they were slaves, villains, or serfs into another country have for centuries past been held free and acknowledged free. Article 43. Therefore, in a war between the United States and a belligerent which admits of slavery, if a person held in bondage come as a fugitive under the protection of the military forces of the United States, such person is immediately entitled to the rights and privileges of a freed man. Article 58. The law of nations knows no distinction of color. The United States cannot retaliate by enslavement. Therefore, death must be the retaliation for this crime against the law of nations. So, the Articles of War and General Orders Number 100 enabled the United States government to advance the liberal principles set forth by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence, that all men are created equal.